We are now starting press briefing with Minister Motegi. Minister, please.
Now, from the 17th to 20th of May, His Excellency Secretary General Guterres of the United Nations will be visiting Japan together with the heads of many UN organizations to attend the United Nations System Chief Executive Board for Coordination and other related events. And during his stay, His Majesty Emperor will be meeting with the Secretary General, and Prime Minister Takaichi and I myself will be meeting with Mr. Guterres as well as the heads of the United Nations organizations to have exchange of views. This year marks the 70th anniversary of Japan joining the United Nations. Ever since joining the United Nations in 1956, of the three pillars of the UN activities, the peace and security of the international community and development and human rights and other areas, Japan has been contributing actively and have been placing importance on multilateral cooperation. So the 70th anniversary of Japan accessing to the United Nations, and with Secretary General Guterres visiting Japan, with this as a turning point, we would like to further deepen our partnership with the United Nations.
If you have a question, please proceed to the nearest microphone and ask your question after saying your name and affiliation. Onda-san from Kyoto newspaper. This is Kyoto. Okada speaking. I have a question about U.S.-China summit meeting. Yesterday, today, U.S.-China summit was held. Both leaders showed a positive stance towards stabilizing bilateral relations, but it's reported President Xi cautioned the U.S. regarding the Taiwan. And what is your take of this meeting and the progress made? So it just so happens that right now, a couple of minutes ago, the summit meeting just ended. So I need to organize the information, and at a different occasion, I'd like to speak about my take. But as I have repeatedly said, U.S.-China relation needs to contribute to the stability of international society, including Japan. And we are paying close attention to the summit meeting between the two nations with a high level of interest, inclusive of impact on Japan. We will be collecting information, and we will collaborate with the U.S., and we would like to take appropriate measures or respond appropriately. Anyways, it is important for Japanese government to continue to call upon China to take responsible actions commensurate to its stance under the alliance with the U.S. Next question.
This is Murakami from Hokkaido Shimbun newspaper. I would like to ask on diplomacy vis-a-vis Russia. Now, the special envoy of the Russian government has met with the LDP, the Honorable Suzuki, and that according to Honorable Suzuki, in the meeting on the 14th between him and the minister that you have discussed on the meeting of the foreign ministers, are there any coordination ongoing between the two governments? And as to pros and cons of having high-level dialogue with a country with whom relationship deteriorating, I would like to hear your view. Now, be it foreign ministerial meeting or at the sub-cabinet level meeting contacts, there are no concrete plans as of now between Japan and Russia. Now, Russia's aggression against Ukraine is still continuing, so we are working in partnership with the international community, including the G7, in imposing sanctions against Russia. So there is no change in our policy vis-a-vis Russia, basically. And now, the precondition from the Russian side is to have Japan rethink on our Russian policy. But we cannot accept Russia to pass on the responsibility for the part of Japan. In any case, because the bilateral relationship is in a difficult situation, it is ever more important to have communication between the two countries, to have appropriate management of the relationship with Russia, our neighbor, and we are still open on communication with Russia, including contacts between foreign policy authorities.
Hamamoto from IWJ, Internet, IWJ Hamamoto. My question is also regarding diplomatic relation with Russia. So Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov was reported to have expressed the view that Russia would not object if Japan wishes to import Russian crude oil. Also, Minister, Japan aligns itself with the Western countries in sanctions against Russia, but Japan will face difficulty without oil from Russia, and economic issues has never been politicized. And understanding the Japanese situation, the economic hardship Russia is offering the shipment of crude oil. What's most important is before the reserve dries up, Japan needs to secure the oil by taking the offer from Russia. But what's your take? So Minister Lavrov, I do not acknowledge Foreign Minister Lavrov directly saying what you said, so I would like to refrain from giving you my answer. Any other question?
Itagaki-san from Asia News International, please. Now, this is Itagaki from ANI, related to India. Now, from India, from the fiscal 2026, there has been tax system being amended to try to invite investment into India. So there have been reduction as well as exemption of taxes, as well as subsidies to be provided, and those incentives to be provided, especially for data centers and semiconductors. Tax reduction is something being largely propagated. And up until the 2040s, the Japanese-related companies could enjoy tax holidays. So those active invitation from India on investment into India, and especially, Minister, you have visited the countries of Africa this month. So based upon those results, for the free and open Indo-Pacific, what direction would Japan move forward, especially in the turbulent times today? Now, first of all, on India. India is an emerging market and a manufacturing center which is growing dramatically. On the occasion of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan in August last year, we have put forward the target of 10 trillion yen of private sector investment into India, and Japan is pushing forward the Japanese businesses to locate in India and invest into India. So we welcome the invitation from India on Japanese businesses. And having said so, to have even more efforts taken by the Indian side on business climate improvement, Japan has established in April this year, Japan-India, the Economic Affairs Division, and we would like to closely work with India going forward. And for Africa, has very high growth rate of population. It is a young the continent, the rich in the natural resources, so we can expect the dynamic growth to continue, which is focus of attention of Japanese and other countries' businesses. Now, this time, when I visited Kenya, I have given policy speech on African diplomacy. And as I have stated in my speech, as one pillar of African diplomacy of government of Japan, I have stated it is important to create a virtuous cycle of growth between Africa and Japan. And I have indicated my thoughts on this. So India as well, and for African continent, for free and open Indo-Pacific, to be made even more resilient. From that perspective, our relationship with India as well as African continent will be increasingly important. Those regions are important to try to enhance the autonomy as well as resilience of those countries, and we would like to have a good policy with these regions going forward. Thank you. If there are no more questions, we would like to close the conference. Thank you.